I was 19 years old, and honestly, I was lost. At the time, I had just dropped out of college and I spent the next 4 months doing absolutely nothing. No job, no direction, no real plan, just stuck. Every day blurred into the next, and I could feel myself slipping into a place I didn't want to be. Eventually, I landed a job at Target as an overnight stalker in December. It might not sound like much, but to me, it was the start of something. The thing is, I didn't tell my mom. Every evening, I'd quietly sneak out through the window and catch the bus to work. Then I'd sneak back home early in the morning, making sure I got in before she walked out for her shift. Eventually, she found out. But surprisingly, she wasn't upset. She didn't say much. It was just the two of us in the house. Everyone else, siblings, relatives, had either moved away or passed on. It had just been me and her for a while. My mom had been struggling with mental illness for as long as I could remember. And after my dad passed away, things got worse. I was just a kid, but I always carried this deep concern for her. I wanted to help, to protect her, to somehow ease her pain, but when you're young, all you can really do is watch from the sidelines. Listen to the crying behind closed doors and hear the silence when things fall apart. The weight of responsibility had been on my shoulders for years. Not because someone put it there, because I felt like I had to carry it. Then one day, she brought up the idea of moving back to her home country. I supported her 100%. She needed rest. She needed peace. And she needed to be with family. Her siblings, people who understood her and could take care of her. In March, she left. And suddenly, I was alone. The house was in terrible shape. After my dad passed, it was like the spirit of the house went with him. Everything looked tired. Weeds took over the yard. Rooms were dusty and broken. Furniture was old and out of place. The place felt like a haunted version of my childhood. It felt abandoned because, in a way, it was. But I decided I couldn't let it stay that way. This was my father's house, a house that he built with his sacrifices, hard work, and sweat to provide for this family. Not long after, my sister heard my mom moved and reached out and said she'll be willing to move back home. Eventually. Her and my mom didn't get along. That's why she moved out years ago. The timing wasn't perfect. She actually just locked into a lease for the rest of the year, but we made a plan. Fix up the house together. She came by almost every weekend with her family. Every spare moment they had was spent with me, cleaning, painting, rebuilding. And when I say we worked. I cleaned the living room, the kitchen, the bedrooms, even the master bedroom with the old bathroom my parents once used. I went through closets, scrubbed the baseboards, cleared out junk. I tackled the garage, mowed the front lawn, brought life back to the backyard. Even my dad's old rooster farm had to be cleaned out. My brother-in-law, who was in the painters union, taught me how to paint. He didn't just do it. He showed me how. Brushstrokes, prepping walls, the whole thing. I felt like I was learning not just how to fix a house, but how to build something of my own. We even redid the kitchen, a full renovation, and I even took out a loan to help pay for it. I believed in what we were doing. New flooring was installed thanks to my uncle, who was a carpenter. Lighting fixtures were replaced by my cousin, an electrician. This wasn't just a family home anymore. It became a family project. Every improvement made, the house felt a little less broken, a little more alive. Looking back now, that period of my life taught me something I didn't realize at the time. It wasn't just managing a house, I was learning how to manage my own life. I was taking control, learning how to care for something that once cared for me. At 19, I didn't feel ready, but I showed up anyway, and that made all the difference. By the time those 9 months had passed, the house was unrecognizable, in the best way. It felt warm again, like it had a purpose, like it could hold laughter again. It wasn't just a house anymore, it was a home. And then, right at the end of the year, just like we planned, my sister and her family moved in. I remember standing at the front door, watching them carry in boxes, hearing the sounds of footsteps, voices, and laughter echo through the hallways that had been quiet for so long. The same rooms I once walked through alone were now filled with life, with family, the feeling of togetherness. That moment was everything. We made it through. We kept the house. We brought it back to life, and in the process, I think I brought a little bit of myself back too. But one thing was still missing: the presence of my parents.